What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called, I Really Don't Work for the Court. Background. I used to work for a large county, a busy one with almost 25,000 civil service employees and 70-plus departments, all in various offices spread out across over 12-plus different large buildings. I was just one of many office minions. I did my job, mostly budgets for my one small office. It was years before I had a clue about what all those other offices did. However, occasionally I would run into people who assumed that the county badge I wore meant I'd automatically know the details of whatever specific department they needed support from. The setting. On this occasion, I had to park in the very back of this massive employee parking lot shared by two major county buildings. One building was the courthouse and its offices. The other was a large structure with a few dozen different county offices. I didn't work at either office. I was just headed to the large structure for finance training. I was still very new to the job, so I was a little more dressed up than most people. Slacks and nice shoes, trying to make a good impression everywhere. It was a busy area, lots of people coming and going, so when I saw the scruffy-looking guy on a sidewalk at the edge of the parking lot, I didn't think much of it. He looked slightly better than the homeless guys that wander nearby, so I assumed he was just someone else moving through the day, until I had this conversation. Here's the cast, me, scruffy-looking guy, various onlookers who just made it more awkward. The conversation. I parked and opened my door, but sat in the car for a few seconds, making sure I had everything I needed. Hey. I didn't respond. I didn't know he was talking to me. Hey, hello. At this point, I was getting out of my car and realized he was talking to me. I started to think he might be one of the homeless folks after all. I figured he'd ask for money next. I picked up my cup of caffeine and pulled my laptop bag out of my car. Hey, scruffy looking guy started to walk towards me. Hey, do you work for the court? I shook my head while shouldering my bag. No, I don't. Sorry. I gave him a nod goodbye before I turned my back and walked away quickly, heading towards the county buildings. I had to get to the training on time. I was only a little startled when scruffy-looking guy caught up with me and walked beside me, keeping pace. People looking for public services in the wrong place is pretty common. I often had to point people in the right direction. It's okay, I just need to tell him something. I put on my helpful customer service voice and pointed towards the courthouse building. Sorry, I don't work there. You should talk with someone from the court. There's an info desk inside. Oh, come on, you work there. I was still hurrying through the parking lot with scruffy-looking guy still keeping up. I really don't. I just need him to change up my lawyer. I kept walking, but I stared at him in surprise for a few seconds. At this point, I was wondering what he did to need a court-appointed lawyer. I wondered if he was out on bail. And I really wondered who the hell approaches someone in a parking lot to request a change of attorney. No, he's an okay guy. He's just not doing things right. I need a new one. I kept walking, trying not to let the surprise and rising concern show on my face. Still baffled he's talking to some random person in the parking lot about this. Still wondering what he did to need a court-appointed attorney. I'm so sorry. Really, I don't. Scruffy-looking guy continued to follow me. Come on, just help me out. It's your job. Me, now past the parking lot and trapped at a crossing light. The other people at the light were pretending not to listen, but I saw people pause and scrolling on their phones to furtively watch scruffy-looking guy and I really don't deal with that. You need to talk with the info desk at the courthouse. I'm talking with you. Can you tell him? No, I don't work for the court. I don't know how you... Stop. Just stop. Don't try that. You got a badge. That doesn't mean I work for the court. Anyone who works for the county has a badge. I gestured toward the people around us, waiting at the crosslight, most with badges. They all looked away and suddenly became very busy with their phones again. Scruffy-looking guy walked with me across the crosswalk and followed as I continued to the building. Stop playing. You work for the court, holding all that paperwork, dressed up and everything. Bet you're a lawyer. I'm not. You are, aren't you? No, You could be my new lawyer. I finally stopped on the sidewalk leading to the doors of the building, raising my voice, getting startled looks from various people passing by. I work in budgets, not for the court. Not everyone with a badge works for the court. Huh, but you do work for the county. Yes. So you know people at the court. I sighed, but managed to pull most of the customer service voice back into place. I'm sorry, I don't. I really don't work with the courts at all, and I never have. I have zero information on how to get a new attorney. You really should go over there and talk to someone. That's what I would do. Scruffy-looking guy stared at me, apparently finally comprehending. I started walking away again, pointing to the courthouse entrance we just passed. Just go through there to the info desk. Scruffy-looking guy standing still, calling after me. Okay. I walked away again, almost to the doors. I called back over my shoulder, "Take care!" Scruffy-looking guy now yelling after me. Hey, well, can I get your number then? More people were giving us strange looks at this point. I just looked back at him, then just shook my head in total disbelief and kept walking. Hey, I didn't kill anybody. I'm a good guy. Several people started slowing down to watch, my fellow office minions hoping for a little drama. I shook my head again, opened the door to the building, and hurried inside without responding. Scruffy-looking guy shouting from outside the door as it shut behind me. Well, screw you then, uppity biscuit eater. Epilogue. Security came to the door when he heard the yelling and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. Security stepped outside and scruffy-looking guy hurried away, but not towards the courthouse. My finance training was as boring as it sounds. I never saw the guy again. If you really want someone like that to leave you alone, I think the best thing to do first is to be like, obviously to say, oh yeah, I don't know what you need, I can't help you, da-da-da-da-da. But if they keep helping you, you can be like, you know what, actually, I might know someone, or I might be able to help you, and then give the most obviously ridiculous advice in hopes that they'll think you're just completely stupid on the topic, and then they'll leave you alone, because they don't want to waste their time with an idiot just like you. This story's called Nice Try, Karen, but you're not my mother. My original post of this got taken down for some reason by the mods, so I'm reposting it. Because 1, it's a good story to share. 2, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's posted according to the rules. 3, I would like the mods to explain, so if they do take it down again, what did I do wrong so I can avoid the same mistake in the future? So in my first post on this Reddit, your name's not Karen? Not my problem. I gave some excessive background, but that's because I have a lot more stories, not even limited to this Reddit. I decided to share another one. Where this story takes place is actually the only motel, room access from exterior of building, my parents have managed thus far. It's pretty old and a lot of things have to be manually done or switched on or off. So it was a Friday and early evening. I was heading down to the opposite side of the hotel to turn on the exterior lights, electronic sign, parking lots, etc. This motel didn't have all doors with electronic locks, so the door I had to get through was an actual lock and key. So I'm walking down past all the rooms when a door behind me opens. I keep walking, barely throwing a glance over my shoulder. I eventually make it towards the end and am just about to pull out the key when I hear rapid footsteps. I turn around, stopping another wild Karen in her tracks. Alright, she didn't really look like a Karen, but I had been in the lobby when she checked in, and yeah, no doubt about it. For a second, she actually hesitates to talk, almost fooling me into thinking, oh great spaghetti monster, was I wrong about her? Ha! Nope. Karen begins to berate me for not being behind the desk and getting her food. What the hell? It's a motel. Where does she think she is? La expensive hotel? I tell her in a mocking way, since I honestly gave zero loves about what she thought. Oh, sure, let me just snap my fingers and conjure food from the non-existent kitchen, Your Highness. She did not like that. I was sure she would start yelling at me for mocking her, but nope. You're a witch? Once more, I ask, what the hell? This just took a turn that made me long for a big stick to smack her upside the head with, because something was obviously just rolling around up there. Maybe if I smacked her hard enough, I could make her qualify to be shipped up to the loony bin or the funny farm. I start laughing in her face, mostly from my own thoughts. Her face starts to turn this shade of red that makes me laugh even harder, because it makes her look like the tomato from VeggieTales in a blonde wig.
Why are you laughing? I'm the manager's wife and I can fire you.
Still laughing. I'm bent over trying to breathe properly with tears streaming down my face from laughing so hard. That makes me start snorting from breathing in and out at the same time. I know, that's total Baltic semen. I wrote in the first post about my parents, right? My parents are the collective manager here. She has no idea. I eventually take a deep breath, clench my nails into my palms, and look this Karen straight in the eyes. You'd fire your own daughter, Mom? I later told my mom about this, and she kind of found it insulting that I didn't say that my mom is so much better looking, according to my father. Karen looked so dumbfounded by what I'd said that I have to actually turn my head towards the side completely so she's out of my line of vision so I don't start my laughing fit again. She huffs angrily and walks away. I turn on the lights and think that's the end of it. Nope! The morning shift typically has to clean up breakfast, and since I was helping my dad, who at the time was suffering from something unknown in his legs that made it painful to walk, I was the one that was cleaning up breakfast. It's from 6 to 9, and it was about 15 minutes from 10. I was just wiping down the counter now. Nothing was left from breakfast on the counter, except for coffee for guests. I go into the back office and start washing dishes, which means that my dad has to keep his ear out for the door chime to go off, signaling that someone has come in. I am in the middle of washing dishes when I hear yelling from the front. I'm greatly concerned for my dad and rush towards the office, grabbing my phone from the desk in case I had to call 911. I didn't. Lo and behold, Karen had arrived. She was yelling at my dad about how there was no breakfast set out, how he was a crappy employee, and how she knew the manager. Yeah, well, she did. She was talking to him after all. My dad kept trying to explain breakfast hours were over and they were under no obligation to keep it open for her, even pointing to the sign right behind his head that stated the hours too. Karen was not having it. She saw me as soon as I walked in.
And your employee cussed me out last night when I was simply asking for directions.
No, she didn't say cursed at me. I have to do the whole nail in palms trick to not start laughing at the memory because I would no doubt get in trouble for that. My dad turns to me and gives me this questioning look. I shake my head and shrug. Ma'am, she's none.
I want her fired right now.
Well, as we say in the industry, the customer is unfortunately always right. My dad turns to me, his face away from Karen, and gives me a grin before saying, "You heard the lady. You're fired." I give him a returning grin. Okay, Dad, I'll go finish the dishes. My dad turns to her and says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" Karen demands to see the manager. Now, in the back office, a few steps away from the open door that separates the office from the front desk, I watch my dad stroll into the office, in quite a bit of pain, which made me mad, close the door, wait a minute, before he walks back out and says, "I'm the manager here, and I'm asking you to leave the property." Karen screams,
"Well, then I'm not paying."
Okay, guess what? You already paid a check-in. With that cash, that requires a $50 deposit, so therefore, you're not getting it back. My dad shrugs, and I walk out from behind the desk a moment later to refill the coffee pot, where Karen has moved to get some. That's right, she didn't leave. Karen starts yelling at me now. It's endless screaming and yelling, I swear.
What the hell are you doing? You're fired!
I smirk and tell her two things. One, I'm the manager's daughter and not actually an employee. Two, the coffee here is for paying guests, and since you clearly stated that you're not paying, you can't have it. The coffee was out anyways, so she couldn't get any even if she tried. Karen, now understanding why I had called her mom the previous night, storms off. I didn't see her again for the rest of the weekend. Which, two, wild Karen, 0. Edit 1, I wasn't paid as an employee, so no, I didn't technically work there. I only really helped out. And there isn't a kitchen, but in the back there was a sink we used to wash the waffle batter drip pan out, etc. So no, there was no kitchen. This girl's a really good writer. I enjoy reading her stories on here because, like I said, they're well written and they're pretty freaking funny. I enjoyed reading them. I guess, or them, because I read the other one too. Anyways, please post more stories. They're great. You're great. Also, your dad's funny, and that Karen needs some real help, but don't we all? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.